You're tuned in to We Talk Radio Network.
So let's dive into the incredible Wes Smooth. Now, of course, you are the amazing station manager and an on-air personality. You have some amazing shows right here on Twin Cities Radio Network. But I want to start from the beginning. And we actually had the pleasure of meeting a couple of years ago. I have seen you work. I've seen you hit the ground running for what you love, and which is the incredible media, the entire world of media. I mean, it's absolutely what you love, and you do amazing work for what you love, and you have a true passion for it. So it's great. It was awesome to actually meet you in action. A lot of times, meet you and see you in action. A lot of times, I meet. I don't have an opportunity to meet my guests prior to an interview, but in this case, I have, and we had the opportunity to work at an extraordinary festival together. And brother, when I say you're absolutely amazing. So for all of my guests, this is who he is. This is not somebody who I just met off the street, or who somebody somebody referred to me. No, I actually have worked deeply with him. So he is vetted. Go ahead, Mr. Smooth. Let's talk from the beginning. When did you know radio broadcasting was for you?
Wow. I always, all of us, when we were young, we always wanted to be able to play music for other people, when it, all the way with boom boxes, being on the bus and on the train and stuff like that. We always wanted to do that. We wanted to play the records at the party and stuff like that. Or even if it was just a little family gathering, we always wanted to be the ones who played the music. So I think that I got that naturally just as growing up, in my culture. But with the radio thing, I think that it was a man named Herb Kent in Chicago who, at the time, radio was like our TV because we didn't have one. And he would invent characters and stuff like that. When we did have a TV, it was about 3 or 4 channels on. But he would invent characters, and he made radio into TV. He would talk about the Wahoo Man. This is a thing that kept us safe. He would invent characters like the Wahoo Man that kept us off the street at night and that sort of thing. And as I got older, I look back on that to see how intriguing, that really was. But during that time, this guy's radio name was the Cool Gent. His name was Herb Kent, the Cool Gent. And I thought he was one of the coolest cats that I ever heard, ever. Then, on that very, very same station was where an ex-policeman by the name of Don Cornelius became employed in just doing the sports. Well, I don't need to tell you where Don Cornelius' destiny led him, and that was to Soul Train fame. I was on the first Soul Train when it was in black and white, and it wasn't taped at all. A lot of people think that Soul Train started in California, but it started in Chicago. It was in black and white, it was live, and it wasn't taped at all. And that whole live thing, so when you think about that and then think about music and you want to orchestrate and play what people want to hear, I mean, we was good all the way up until Walkmans came out, because we used to blast on the L train and on the bus and stuff and playing music. So I think that it was natural. But then when I got into it, maybe about 9 years ago, and I got into it real good, I was doing something with somebody else, and somebody wanted to have jazz on their station. They didn't have a jazz man. And smooth jazz radio had just left the Twin Cities. It was gone. It was no more. And I stepped in on a Sunday to play jazz because my father used to listen to jazz, and it was only played on Sunday. And my father would listen with a transistor radio, and I would have to listen to about 4 or 5 songs before the announcer would tell you who made these songs. And so what that did was that developed my listening ear for listening to music. Don't get me wrong, I grew up in music. I was a Motown baby. I listened to blues, B.B. King, met him, all that stuff. I grew up in just music. And so when the opportunity came, I took it and started doing jazz on Sundays. And I went to a couple other radio stations where some guys cheated me out of money and stuff like that. But I was continuing to learn a little bit more, especially internet radio was something new, and it was a lot easier. I worked with a guy that was supposed to have been training me, but when this guy found out how well versed I was, he stopped really training me and just pretended like I was a guest on his show. So, alas, I hooked up with somebody who sponsored a radio station there in Miami, Florida, and I was doing a morning show, and I was competing with Tom Joyner. Well, I wasn't competing with Tom Joyner, but I was on the same time that he was. I just put it to you like that. And so this same sponsor, I wanted to do something in the Twin Cities. They were simultaneously building a brick and mortar radio station in Miami. They completed that. They asked me, did I want to become the jazz man in Miami, or did I want to stay in the Twin Cities and manage the Twin Cities Radio Network? Needless to say, I stayed in the Twin Cities and managed the Twin Cities Radio Network. But the school I was working with handed me another job. I had a contract, and I couldn't promote the station. They lost interest, and then I bought up all of the interest. And October 21st, 2015, my tenure with the school system, I gave them my resignation and decided to take this on as a full-time thing. That's and that was the short version.
Right.
It was a long journey. Go ahead.
No. I'm listening. No, yeah. Tell me more.
Well, I'm here. I mean, at first while I was working at the school, I could only do a Sunday show, and that's what kept me, building up the listening audience. And I remember times when I only had 3 people listening to me, and I can name those 3 people. One's in North Carolina. Her name is Sybil Clark. The other one is in Reading, England. Her name is Sarah Robinson. And the other lady is in St. Louis, Missouri. Her name is Shelley Singleton. This is the lady that sells those wine glass covers and stuff. And there were times that these were the only 2 people that were listening to me on the radio. However, those 3 people kept me going. They kept me going. They liked it, would compliment me and say, yeah, that was a jam. Oh, I really like that. What was the name you played? Oh, I like that. That sort of thing. And so all of that just encouraged me to continue. And so a lot of cats, they do this as a hobby. What I did with the Twin Cities Radio Network is I turned it into a business. And we have an office, a studio. Yeah, we have an office, a studio, and I can do it from home, if I choose to. You got a lot of cats that's out here, because we all tend to compete as opposed to build. And I had a dream. Just like Sirius Radio Network, all that's in one building. And they got every genre of music covered. That's my plan. That's my plan, to do something like that.
You're tuned in to We Talk Radio Network.